and welcome to Sarah's Stamping Retreat. Today we're going to be creating 5 different flip fold cards using a few different methods, and we're also going to be using this Winter Warmers Creative Craft Product stamp set, which is free with the latest Creative Stamping magazine. So that will be linked in the supply list below if you want to take a look at that. So I'm not going to do a lot of stamping and colouring on screen today because this is more about the mechanisms of the flip cards. So I have stamped this lady who's reading onto some watercolour paper and coloured that with my Corin markers and then cut it out. And I want her to go on there. So this is a 3-inch circle in light green, and then I've got a darker green circle that measures about 3¼ inches. I'm going to use the same die that I used to cut this outside circle to cut an aperture in my card front. So I don't want to stick this down yet because I want to emboss that front piece. So I'm just going to pop that in place with some temporary tape. And then I'm going to pop this through my die cutting machine like that, with this in the middle. So here's your reminder not to cut through the back of your card, because guess who's done that before? So then I've got an aperture in both pieces. So then I want to do an inky embossing technique. So I'm just going to ink my brayer with some green ink. This is the Stampin' Up! Old Olive. And then this embossing folder that I'm using is the August embossing folder of the month from Spellbinders. But these embossing folders are usually available unless they sell out after they've been in the club. But obviously they are more expensive then, but this one's such a lovely one. It goes so nicely with this cozy scene. So when I get to my die cutting machine, I'm going to pop my piece of paper in like that to emboss it. So then we've got this nice inky embossed piece. Obviously I didn't really need to ink up the entire embossing folder. I just thought rather than have it slip or something, I'd prefer to ink it up fully. So I think that looks really nice. So that will go on there then. And just add a bit of texture to the background. So then I've got a 2-inch by 4¼ inch piece of cardstock, and I'm going to score that at 1, 2, 3 and 4 inches. And then I've got a 1 by 2 inch piece of cardstock, and I'm just going to score that at 1 inch. So in this piece I'm going to just fold along the score lines. So then I'm going to add a piece of tape onto here. That's just a 1/4 inch piece. And then I'm going to fold that over, and then you get this square. So then I want to glue this in here, but I only want to glue this section. So I'm going to add some tape and pop it across that one section. And I want to put that right in the middle here. Then this other section that's right here, I want to add on as well. But I want to make sure that none of the tape shows through the circle. So I'm just going to add that onto this area instead. Then I can fold that over. You can see now this pops up when we do this. So then we've got our little piece here. We're going to add tape to one side of this. And then I'm going to line that up so that this edge lines up with this crease on the mechanism. Then I'm going to put some more tape on this side. And then I'm going to put this over so that it fits in the hole. And then when we open the card, that's going to pop up. So then, now that the mechanism's done, it's just about decorating it. So I can add on this piece here. And then I'm going to add this circle on here. And then I'm going to pop our lady up on some foam pads. So when you open it, she pops up like that. So then I should say that you get a set of digital papers and sentiments in the kit as well. So these are the sentiments, and I've printed them out because I've printed them out full size here and half size here. So I think that I'm actually going to use this Warm and Cozy Winter Wishes off the smaller one, and then I'm going to use this one that says sending warm love your way on a cold winter's day for inside the card. So then I've cut the warm and cosy winter wishes with a piece of green cardstock, just a bit bigger than it. And then I'm going to pop that up on some foam pads. And then I'm going to glue this sentiment that I cut with a circle onto a green circle that's about 1/4 inch bigger. Really nice to be able to print your own sentiments, because obviously where I printed them in 2 different sizes, this one's from the largest pack and that's from the smaller set. And it's nice to have like the different sizes. So then I want to put this inside the card and I want to place it just under the other circle, so that when it closes it just kind of covers it, and then as you open it up you start revealing the sentiment. So then that's that first card done. So then for my next card I want to make a shaped flip card. So I've got a normal card front, 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I'm actually going to use the lines on my mat just to make sure I'm going down the centre of my card. So I'm just going to draw a pencil line down there. And then I've stamped and coloured this little window with my pencil crayons, and I've cut a red arch a size bigger than that. Both of those are cut out using my Essential Arches die set from Spellbinders, and I'll make sure that I link that below because that is one of my most used die sets. So then I'm going to use the same die that I used to cut out that red frame. I'm going to put on here. I'm just going to line it up and centre it on that line. And then I want to die cut this, but I only want to die cut it this side of that pencil line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on here, then I'm going to line up my top plate with that pencil line. And I'm going to add it through my die cutting machine like this, because then it will only cut this side of the line. So now that I've got this partially cut, I'm just going to score along these lines just above and below this partial cut. And then I'm going to fold this way and fold the card back that way. So this will go on there. So I want to do some stamping inside. So then I'm going to put this from our home to yours in the middle on the back. And then I'm going to stamp over some of these kind of more homely stamps, like the little basket of logs and the 2 curled up animals. I'm just going to make a pattern of those around the back. And as always, when repeat stamping, there are 2 main things that I like to do. One is to make sure that I always stamp off the sides, because that gives you a much more organic feel. And the other is to stamp from the largest stamp to the smallest stamp, because it's easier to fill in the gaps with the smallest stamp. So then I can colour that in with my pencils. So then I've just put a 2 1/8 by 5.5 inch piece of textured green cardstock down that side. We've got our coloured images here, and so then I just need to focus on my window. Now I've got this gap under here and I just want to pop a little sentiment there. So I'm going to use this Live, Love, Laugh, and then I can add that onto here. And then I can add that onto my card. So then for my next card, I'm going to use this really big window stamp. And I've got a top folding 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card blank, but I'm going to use it this way. So then I'm going to stamp this onto the front of my card. So then I want it to look as though you're looking through the windows on this. So I'm going to cut the window pieces out with my knife. You could do it with scissors if you wanted to as well. So basically I'm cutting out everything that is kind of behind the window pane, but things like the cushions that are in front of the window pane I'm leaving in. So then I'm going to grab my scoreboard and I'm going to score at 2 3/4 inches up to that picture, and then also on the other side again to the picture. And then I want to grab my knife and I'm going to go around the outside of the picture from that line round and back to that line at the bottom. I'm not going to worry about this little line just here. Then that will fold back like this. So then I've cut the frames out of this and coloured it, and then I've also coloured another one, but I've coloured the whole image and cut that out. And then I've got another one where I've just coloured the girl and cut that out. So we can layer those up. So then I've lined that up so that it goes under there. And then I just want to line the girl up on the front, but I want to be a little bit careful about where I'm putting the glue on her. So there's not much of her that's going to be overlapping. So I'm going to put some just on her toes and down the edge of there, and then at the bottom of her cushion. I'm going to line her up on there. So then we've got this really cool look to this where we can open it and close it, and it looks kind of quite 3D. So then I'm going to take my pale purple alcohol marker that I've used to colour her trousers. I'm just going to put like a little pattern across here that can kind of act as wallpaper. So then I've got a 1/4 inch strip here of purple cardstock, and I'm going to glue it across here. And then you just cut that off. And then I'm going to continue that on this piece here. Then this warm and cosy birthday wishes. This is from the smaller set that I've printed out, by the way, the set that I set up to print at half the size. So I'm going to glue that onto a piece of purple cardstock that's very slightly bigger. And then I'm going to grab some foam heads. And then I'm going to add this down here. So then we've got our card, and I really like the way that works. So then for my next card, I've got this piece which I've coloured, and then I've cut down to 3 5/8 inch square, and this piece is 3 3/4 inch square, and this piece is 4 inches square. And then I've cut an aperture in the front of my card, which you can see is just slightly bigger than that 4 inch square. So then here I've got a 7.5 by 5 inch piece of cardstock, and I'm going to score that at 2.5 inches and at 5 inches. And then I'm going to fold along those score lines. So then this edge here is mostly going to be covered by part of that, but these two pieces I want to decorate. So I'm going to put on a series of these kind of wintry socks. And then I'm going to colour those with my alcohol markers. So now I've got those coloured, and I've cut this from the set of full-size sentiments that I printed. So I'm going to glue that onto a piece of red cardstock that I've cut just slightly bigger, and I'm going to glue that onto here as well. So then I'm going to glue these pieces together. So then I'm going to glue the back of this piece right inside here. I'm going to line it up with this edge of my card, and then I'm going to fold that like that. I'm going to put this over here, and I'm going to put glue onto the white bit but inside the square, and then I can place this where it needs to go. And then when you open this up, it can open like that. So then I've just got this little dog I want to pop up on some foam pads. And I'm just going to pop that up here. And then there's that card done. So then for this final card, I want to do some all over stamping with sentiments. And I want to make another card similar to this. We'll use the same mechanism but different shapes. So I want to just stamp all over my sentiments. I want a more focal sentiment inside, so I'm going to put this A Hug in a Mug just here inside, and that's in Deep Iris ink from Altenew. And then all of the other sentiments I'm going to add in this soft lilac, which is a much paler shade. And I'm going to use all of these kind of like similar type sentiments. We've got A Hug in a Mug, Warm and Fuzzy, and Warm Winter Cuddles. And so I think they all kind of have a similar sentiment to them. They go together quite well. So I'm just going to add them all around. And I'm going to do the same on the front. So we're going to have this on the front, or coming through the front. So I don't need to worry too much about the middle, but I need some around the outside. So then I'm going to use the same essential arch die as I used to cut out this purple arch to cut an aperture in the front of the card. So then I've got a 4 1/4 by 2 inch piece of cardstock, and I'm going to score that at 1 inch, at 2 inches, at 3 inches, and at 4 inches. And then I've got a 1 by 2 inch piece, and I'm just going to score that at 1 inch. So then, as I did before, I'm going to score along all these lines. And I'm going to put some tape on this end, and then I'm going to join the two. So then I'm going to add some tape to one section of this, and then I'm going to add it in here. Then I'm going to add tape here underneath this. And then adding that like that. Then I'm going to add tape onto here. And I'm going to add this on like this, so that this edge is against this crease here. And then finally, I'm just going to add some of this onto here. And then I'll add on this. So then all I need to finish is to just add on the main image. So then as we open it, it goes like that. So then that's that card finished. So then there are our selection of flip fold cards. I really hope that you enjoyed creating them with me. Please do let me know in the comments below which is your favourite. If you enjoyed today's video, I'd really appreciate you clicking like below, and you can also press subscribe if you'd like to see future videos. If you press the bell button and select all, then YouTube will also notify you when I've got a new video available. All of the products that I've used for today's cards are listed in the description below, and there's also a link there to my blog where you can find a picture supply list if that helps you find what you're looking for. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.